Hi, everybody. It's Kelly Russell, the Rock Your Joy Coach. Thank you so much for being with me today, and welcome to my channel. So, this week, my topic is based on lesson 130 of the workbook of A Course in Miracles, which is It is impossible to see two worlds. And the Course is very clear about this, that everything that we see unfolding in our lives we are choosing to see. This is literally how we create our own reality. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because they think, why would I why would I create illness? Why would I create death of a loved one? Why would I create conflict or financial struggle or war or all of the ways that the ego shows up in the world and all of the things that we are challenged by and that we journey through and are difficult. And rather than getting hung up, that's kind of a trick of the ego, is getting hung up around, why would I do that? Why would we do that? And it can keep us in that sort of navel gazing, you know, endless loop, instead of actually looking at what the truth is, and more importantly, taking the action to get ourselves out of that said loop. And so when we look at the two worlds that we could see, we can look at everything that appears to happen in this world from two different perspectives. And that's really what this lesson is talking about. We're living in a dream. That's the basis of A Course in Miracles, is that there is no world. It's a central teaching. The Course attempts to teach there is no world. This is a made up hallucination that's being shown to us by that insane part of our split off minds called the ego. And so it's like this movie that we're watching, this dream that we're in. And so there are things that appear to happen in the dream. And seeing two worlds is about choosing the perception of love, and then it's the whole thing is going to unfold in a certain way, and it's going to be the story that you're telling yourself about it. It's going to be the lens through which you're viewing whatever the circumstances, or you're going to choose the perception of fear, and you're going to see a very different world when you do that. It's literally like you are wearing glasses, and you are either wearing, there's that phrase that looking at the world through rose colored glasses. Yes, I endorse that. Rose colored glasses are the bomb. When you look through rose colored, rose tinted glasses, everything looks beautiful. It looks warm. It looks, of course, rosy. It just has this beautiful, lovely glow about it, and it literally looks like love. And when you put on a pair of gray lensed glasses, everything looks gray. Everything looks dark and kind of dismal and devoid of color, and it can feel, kind of sad. And so that's really what this message of this lesson is. So not to get hung up on, why would I create this and why would I create that, but to say, whatever appears to be happening in my life right now, what's the story I'm telling myself about it, and how can I reframe that story so that I'm not looking at it from a place of fear, which is going to look like negativity, it's going to be judgmental, it's going to look like resentment, anger, victimization, sadness, um, you know, conflict, and it's going to suck. As opposed to, how can I look at this from a place of, giving the benefit of the doubt, a place of, what could this have to teach me, or what might I need to cultivate within myself, or what characteristics have I had to grow and develop in order to be able to cope with this situation? Or, is the way that I'm judging a brother, is that actually true? Is that the only explanation I can come up with? Is there any other way that I can make sense of this situation besides the way that I am in choosing to condemn a brother and see someone as, just willfully being a jerk in the world and making them guilty and making them wrong? There's always another way to look at this, so as you might know, I am a therapist and a coach, and I approach everything from the standpoint of A Course in Miracles, of looking at everything and what story are you telling yourself about everything. And when we learn how to do this, and it's not difficult to do, A Course in Miracles actually makes it very easy because it gives us a practice where we can literally shift that perception from fear to love and change our experience of anything that we appear to be going through in the world really quickly. And I am living proof of it because I've been a Course in Miracles student for 20 years, and I have changed my life, changed my experience, changed my relationships, changed my financial situation, my health, anxiety, depression, what I do for work, and just how I look at my life. I mean, I don't know that there's one area of my life that hasn't been completely altered because of this amazing practice, which is the practice of true forgiveness. And when I coach people with from the standpoint of the Course in Miracles, one of the first things that I ask people is, what is your forgiveness practice? And it is shocking to me how many people say that they don't have one, or they don't know, or, well, I forgive people like if they do something wrong. Okay, right there, right there, I forgive people if they do something wrong, tells me you don't understand the Course's view of forgiveness, or the Course's definition of forgiveness, because the whole point of A Course in Miracles is, if there is no world, if what we are doing is living the ego's dream and this mass collective hallucination, then no one does anything wrong except in a dream. And that's where we're holding people guilty and responsible. And, this takes a lot of fortitude to be able to practice forgiveness, because we don't want to do it. We want to make people guilty and wrong. If you look at your own thoughts about how you're looking at whatever's going on in the world, or how you're looking at the people in your circle, or somebody who might be disturbing your peace, or maybe a lot of people, or some aspect of your life that you feel you have grievance around, think about the thoughts you're having about it. And the thoughts you're having about it are judgmental, they're condemning, they're making the people or the situation wrong. Or we turn that on ourselves and we make ourselves guilty and wrong, and, not good enough, and not worthy, and all of that. Although my personal opinion is that if you dig deep enough, um, as I often do with my work with people who are blaming themselves, they'll eventually blame somebody else. It's how we be. It's what we do. But when you really start to practice the Course's version of forgiveness, and you make it a habit, you form a habit pattern around it. You write it out, so that you know what the language is, you know what the steps are, and every time there is a grievance that crosses your awareness, every time your peace is disturbed, every time you want to strangle somebody. The other day I looked in my rearview mirror, and I was probably doing around 75 on the highway, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and there was somebody coming up behind me so fast. I was convinced they were probably going like 120 miles an hour. I was convinced that they were not seeing, like, out their windshield. Like, I don't know what was going on with the person, but they were going so fast. I was literally afraid for my life that they were going to just smash right into me and not even see me. And I moved over, really quickly. I cut somebody off, and I was like, "You mother!" and I like yelled, and my heart was beating out of my chest, and I was so freaked out. But immediately, just immediately, I was like, okay, I forgive you. There's nothing to forgive. I remember I'm dreaming this illusion that this just happened, and I'm just projecting my own unconscious guilt. I forgive myself for dreaming this illusion. I ask Spirit to help me change my mind and heal my thoughts and perceptions, and I release it to you, Spirit, to be healed. That is the forgiveness prayer. It's literally the 4 steps are I forgive you because there is nothing to forgive. There's nothing to forgive because this is a dream, right? I remember that I'm dreaming this illusion that the ego mind made up. I forgive myself. Forgive myself. That's who we're forgiving in the forgiveness process. Forgive myself for dreaming this illusion. And I ask Spirit to help me see this differently. So I'm giving it over to Spirit. I'm not relying on my own judgment, my own perception, the body's eyes, my way of making sense of something, because my way of making sense of something is going to be from a place of the ego's fear. It's going to be full of shit. And it is not going to be seeing a loving world. In that instance, I was seeing the guy as guilty. And so that's really my message for you today, is that you create your own reality by choosing how you frame and the meaning you make and the story you tell out of anything that appears to be happening in your life. I don't care if it is your conflicted spousal relationship or someplace where you are, where you're being abused, whether it's a disease or a disorder in the body, whether it is some kind of a financial problem or with something that's going on with your job, or whether you don't like the president or there's a war going on or whatever. It's all the same. Every problem that appears to be in the world, it is whatever it is in the dream. Whatever's happening in the dream is happening in the dream, but your experience of it and the world you will see and how you will journey through it is all based on what you choose as your perception. And your ego, you're either going to choose to look at things with the ego, in which case you're going to have a shitty experience, and it's going to be a terrible world, and it's going to be tragic and awful, and it's going to be full of suffering. Or it's going to be a beautiful, loving world that is full of laughter and joining and joy and love and peace. And you know it's really up to you. It's your choice. So that's what I got for you today. Learn the forgiveness practice. It's written out in my message below, so that you can, my suggestion is copy it down, type it out, put it on sticky notes, put it in the notes app on your phone, memorize it, learn it, live it, love it. You can change your life. And so I also want to remind you that as a coach, I do work with people with regard to the whatever's going on in their lives. I'm the Rock Your Joy coach, so I do help people learn how to rock their joy in every aspect of their lives. And if that's something that might be interesting to you and you want to explore it, you can take advantage of a free coaching session, a discovery call, by clicking the link below and booking that with me. So thanks again for joining me. I love having you here. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. I'm here every week talking about the practical application of A Course in Miracles in your life. I'll see you next week. I love you.